So today at a local links mastermind, we are talking about LinkedIn stalking and how to do it right. Great topic. So first off, you might have seen, if you're on LinkedIn and you use it regularly, there we go, words, not my strong suit, then when you get a notification of people who are viewing your profile, you might see some that have a name, and you might see some that look like someone at Ball State University, for example, or anonymous LinkedIn user. Even if you're paying, you still don't get access to all of that information unless the profile viewing options right here in your settings. So if you want to change this, if you currently look like someone at Ball State or an anonymous LinkedIn member, I would challenge you, if you're looking to actually make connections and use LinkedIn as a community to help grow your network, as well as find new customers and clients, then go to your settings and privacy, scroll down to visibility, and then you want to look at your profile viewing options and make sure that it looks like you. So that's what people see whenever you actually show up in their feed when you look at their profile. So that's the first technical tip, number one. And this is what it looks like. These people viewed your profile. So if it was just anonymous LinkedIn user, which sometimes it is, and it's just one people rather than this guy and 6 others, it's weird. Like anonymous LinkedIn user, why is that helpful? It's not to anyone. So make sure that if you are viewing profiles, you are doing it for the right reason. If you're being creepy and stalking people, then please go ahead and keep your privacy settings set to anonymous LinkedIn member. That will make it a lot easier for people not to find you. But for all of us that are making healthy connections on LinkedIn, please go ahead and open your profile to be viewed. So how can we use the LinkedIn search to actually dig deeper into our customer segment? Well, I'm going to show you. I did a little bit of this on a previous call, but I wanted to get a little bit more specific. So let me switch the screen that I am showing. Maybe this one. And we will hop over here to LinkedIn. I apologize for those of you that can still see me on camera. I'm looking off camera, so deal with it. So on your profile, obviously there's a big search bar and you can start typing stuff in. And when you do this, you'll go to a search screen that will be kind of vague and in some cases not very helpful right away. But that's the point of today's session. We want to help you dig in a little bit deeper. So for me, I work with attorneys and I prospect attorneys and law firms and managing partners. So I might search the term managing partner. And I want to, if you get this filter option when you do a search, you can do a quick step and just jump into people. Because at the moment, I don't care about jobs. I'm not looking for a job. Groups can be very helpful, but I'm not looking for that at the moment. I want to meet people. So I'm going to filter to the people search, and that will give me a bunch of people that match managing partner as their job title in my local area. LinkedIn's always going to focus first on your local area. I don't really know why they do this. It's probably just easier for them to narrow the search results and try to give you the closest best match to people that you're looking for. But what we want to do then is say I want to target the Denver, Colorado area. Well, that's a good jump into all filters where I can actually do that. And I can just start typing Denver, Colorado, United States. The nice thing about this is major metropolitan areas are like a greater area that they search for. So even though I'm searching for Denver, I'm getting all of the surrounding cities and towns within about a 50-mile radius. So that's, if I'm remembering my maths right, it's about 13 or 14 different cities around the Denver area. So it's pretty helpful there. I always do this too. I don't ever worry about third-party connections or third party, yeah, because you're too far removed. So when I'm doing this, I always typically jump to second level layer connections, because if it's first, I've already connected with them. I'm not building new relationships with people I have already connected with or finding new people. So I always just jump to second. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, it's super less creepy if you're already connected to someone that when you reach out to this person, you already know, and you can use that as a lever to pull in making a new connection. And two, if they actually do reach out to the person that you are connected to, hopefully you have been connecting with them well and you get a personal reference. So it's kind of a bump in that relationship building status. And of course, the cat goes in the background. The other cool thing that you can do is really focus down into an industry that you want to look at. So you might type in legal services. Yeah, or law practice. Sweet. So now I'm getting super specific on the area of LinkedIn that I want to focus in on and I want to look at. Profile language, if you deal with a lot of people in multiple languages in your industry, you're targeting, your profiling, that can be very helpful. I don't come up against that. I don't get too many primarily German, Spanish, French, or Portuguese speaking people, but LinkedIn is already helping you by saying these are our most popular languages. So you could do that. And then you could dive further into service categories. So I actually know this for a fact that LinkedIn has not, or at least as of a couple of weeks ago, had not dug into different areas of legal practice as a service category. So I typically tend to skip this, but if you are in the type of business or serving the type of industry that does show up here, and really it's just typing it in. So, I mean, photography, portrait photography, event photography, they do give you a lot of different classifications there. So as an example there. And then keywords, I will start typically with this left open because I've already started with managing partner, and typically that phrase is being used within their title. I might, though, have other keywords that I like to have in their partner or in their title. So I could say attorney as well, because a lot of managing partners have been attorneys, but they're not practicing anymore. They're literally just managing the firm. And for a good connection for me, I really help people that are actually practicing law and they're actively searching for new clients in this way. So that could be a really good results for me. So now I've gotten down to my target audience and I know exactly where they are, Denver, Colorado, and I can just start making connections. And this is tying into our session from last week where I went over a system for actually speeding up the process, templatizing it, and making sure that you know, okay, on the first initial outreach, I'm going to add a personalized note and here's how I'm going to do it. So you literally copy paste, update a couple things based on their profile, and then you are good to go. One more unique tip on this is that I will go ahead on every page that I load, and you're limited to about 10 results on each. So depending on how many pages load, like here is 3, so I've got about 30 people, take me maybe 10 to 20 minutes to go through all 30, but I'll just give you an example here. So Garrett Graff, I'm looking for people who are currently active on LinkedIn because I want to use LinkedIn as that connection point. So if they're not active on LinkedIn, I don't care about them right now. I'll come back to that search later so I can hit them up via email or give them a direct phone call. But for right now, all I care about is, are they active on LinkedIn? So if you go to someone's profile and you focus in on this area right here of activity, you can actually see what this person's up to. And this is the cool part about personalized outreach when you're actually building these connections, is because you can start being in this person's world before you actually send that connection request. So one of the things that I like to do is I'll check out their activity and I'll look at all of it. And first, I'm going to filter to what have they posted recently. Welcome the cat to the call. And so I filter it to their posts. And so he's already reaching out and saying, thanks for this great article. I might actually go in and read that article and then leave a comment on this post that he made and say, hey, I totally agree. This was a great article. I really loved this thing. So that's a really good way of kind of sneaking in to this person's world and building a little rapport before you reach out. And then in your initial outreach, that note that you would add back over here, when I say connect, you could say add a note and you say, Garrett, if I could type live, loved the article you shared about and then finish that, and then end it with, this is, I'm out here trying to make connections. I help attorneys get found more online and get really qualified clients before you even have to pick up the phone. I would love to connect with you and see what we can do together. How much value can I add to your life? Always trying to give before I get. But that's a really good way of personalizing your content, is just, stalking the person, seeing what they're up to, and then becoming part of their world. It takes a little bit of time, but if we're all in that growth mindset and we're all trying to grow the business and make personal connections on LinkedIn, spending 20 minutes to do this every single day, or even 2 or 3 days a week, can be incredibly powerful. You could grow your network by 200 or 300 people in a matter of months and have really good connections. So instead of just going out and blasting to a cold audience, you've got a much warmer audience. They know you actively engage with content that they personally share. And if they don't have anything here on the posts, just look at all their activity. And so you can see that Garrett liked this. So you could go in, if you find something that you resonate with in this person's post, comment on their post and call Jarrett out. Jarrett. Get my names right here. Don't call them the wrong name. That won't do anyone any good. But it's a good way to continue that stalking, not be super creepy, and find that personal connection a lot quicker. Any questions? I went over a lot really fast, but that's why we record these things. Yes, jump in, Lori. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
You think I'd be
there we go.
Now, do you have any notes or anything I could see from last week?
Oh, well, we do have a couple things, but let me show you one thing that I cover. If I can bring my applications up quickly.
Okay. Thanks.
And I'll just go over the process, or a process. This is actually an older process, but it gives you the idea. Here we go. So this is, and like I said, it's an older process that I use, but it's basically the same thing. This was just when I was servicing more of professional services people, and really targeting like creative services providers. So my step one was finding the profiles, which we just went over. So I literally outlined that, and I just copied all of this stuff. So making sure that they're US based, so located in the US, their second and or third connections, because at that time I was doing things a little bit differently, but primarily focused on the second degree connection. And then I want titles that match these names. So, okay. Or yeah, these titles. And in that first invite, I would have a script, and I would say, this is who I am. Great to meet you. Here's how I found you. And if I'm already connected with somebody, which I should be if they're a second degree connection, I would actually go through and type their name into that template. So it builds a little rapport there. And then I could add anything I wanted to that I found, either by searching their activity on their profile, but by doing this and kind of scripting it out so I know exactly how I wanted to say it to everybody every time, it gives me not only something I can replicate very quickly, but also something I can customize if I, to my desire level, whatever that level is. And then I go through a couple other steps of getting in there and adding value and saying thank you for the connection, and then adding more value, and then following up on that thing that I gave them. And then if they said, oh, it was really cool, I loved it, here's the next thing that I could give them. So I'm already building out about 5 unique touch points before I really have to get into that, hey, let's grab a coffee, or let's jump on a Zoom in today's world. Is that helpful, Lori?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Awesome.
And Lori, if you missed last week or any weeks over the last almost now year, we actually launched about 2 months ago a platform called the Mastermind Plus, where essentially it's a $5 a month subscription. I put the link in the chat, and that's actually, you get access to all the collateral that Matt has, or any of our from any of our events, along with the recording of the event, and you're actually able to see the education material that's gone over live in video. And
Okay.
it's available on our platform. You can do a monthly or yearly subscription.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Yes, jump in, Tamiza. We're a small group today. You can just unmute and talk. It's fine.
So last year, I took a class at SBDC, and also Matt gave me a great sheet on how to boost my LinkedIn profile. Super awesome. I started getting like over contacted, like too many people were wanting to connect with me. So it worked, but it sort of gave me this burden of dealing with all these new people. Anyhow, some of them definitely, I connected with initially, but I don't really want to deal with anymore. Can I unconnect them, and will they find out, or?
No one is notified when you remove a connection.
Okay.
That's kind of the nice thing about LinkedIn. But yeah, I mean, if they don't match, because you've changed your business model entirely from what you started a year and a half ago. So I think that's totally fine. I actually did that when I decided to niche down and get more specific into attorneys. I had like probably 800 connections in the design and creative industry. And I just went through and I kept the ones that I cared about, like people who I'd actually connected with. And I got rid of probably about 700 of them. And the people that I used to be connected in that realm, they still find some value in the content that I share on LinkedIn, even though it's directed towards attorneys. And in some of those cases, I found good joint venture partnerships where I can connect with someone and then, hey, they also need design services or they need advertising services that I don't provide. And I can then send them a warm lead saying, hey, this is the person that I trust to do this. Great question.
I have another question.
Jump in. Yes, go for it.
Okay. So a number of people, like I went ahead and connected with, and so kind of like you're saying, when you do like the second person connection, I don't really know them yet. I haven't really had that. I don't want them to use me though as a reference. I guess I can't really control that. I've connected with them or the second, and just like you were using in your examples, hey, found you because we are both connected to so and so.
Yeah. I mean, you run that risk a little bit, but I think that it's kind of the nature of the platform, and it is meant for community building. And if someone says that, and then that person reaches out and they're like, how do you know so-and-so, Tamiza? And you're like, I don't actually, I'm connected, but I don't know them. That's fine to say. Just honesty is always the best practice.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you can always just unconnect too. Especially if you see someone who you truly don't know and they're just doing that a lot and you're hearing about it, that would be fine too.